In this video, I'm going to teach you the 5 secrets, the 5 job hopping secrets that will help you make 4 times your salary. That's right. So listen, I understand many of you guys watching these videos are frustrated with your employer. You're frustrated with how much money you're making or lack of money that you're making. You're frustrated with trying to ask for a raise and they give you freaking breadcrumbs for raises. This video, I'm going to teach you and share my story on how I have been successful making 4 times my salary with these 5 job hopping secrets. All right, if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm a Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I drop a video every day. Woo! I'm excited to bring you this video. And thank you and shout out to one of my subscribers. I'm just looking at my notes, Luke Avedon. So Luke, thank you, man. Great topic. And so here it goes. All right. Over the last 8 years, from the time of recording this video, in the last 8 years, I was successful in boosting my salary over 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. And the thing is, that averages 2 jobs, or that averages a job every 2 years. I had 4 different jobs, okay? So let me repeat that. Over the last 8 years, I had 4 different jobs. And I gave myself a nice fucking raise. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is the reality. Trying to get a raise in the current job you have, A, it's going to be difficult. And B, you're basically going to get breadcrumbs. And I'm sorry to break it to you guys. Maybe there's a few exceptions, but this has not been my case. It's very rare that you will take on more responsibility, more direct reports, and actually get a fair pay adjustment. That's right. So employers are trying to squeeze that lemon as much as possible. That's the reality. And again, there are exceptions, but from my experience, whenever I've got a title change or more responsibility, more people reporting to me, I didn't get a huge pay bump into this new awesome category. Nope. So I'm going to share my story. All right. So I'm a marketing executive. I've been in marketing for 18 years, but only in the last 8 years when I freaking figured this out that I actually start making some serious good money. Okay. So I started off as a marketing coordinator. Then I went to a marketing manager. Then I went to a marketing director. Then I went to vice president, head of marketing. Then I went to CEO. I eventually I eventually left the CEO job to go back to a VP job because the pay was way fucking better. Okay. Just because you're CEO of a company doesn't mean you're making a whole lot of money. And this was a small company, but I was CEO, proud of it. It was a 12-person company. Cool. But I was like, you know what? Not only is my responsibility up here, but my pay is here. I'm like, screw it. So I went like this, whoop, right? A little less responsibility, way more pay. So here are the 4 things, okay? The 5 things. Here are the 5 things. All right, so I'm just taking a look at my notes because I made a lot of notes for you guys. All right, so first and foremost, the number one tip is this. If you want to 4 times your salary, okay? You need to stay in each job. So if you are job hopping, you need to stay in each job for a minimum of 18 months. There's a reason for this. The reason is because you need to have a successful 1-year performance review. Now, when recruiters are looking at your resume, your LinkedIn profile, whatever, they are looking at how long have you been in the same job, okay? If you bounce around too much, and especially too frequently, like less than 18 months, it makes recruiters twitch. 18 months is pretty safe. Ideally, you stick around for about 2 years, so a little bit past the 2-year mark, but 18 months, that's number 1 tip, is stick it out for 18 months and then bounce, okay? Number 2 is you need to give yourself a big fat raise. So this is what I mean. In salary negotiations, okay, you never tell them how much you're currently earning, ever, And they will fucking ask you. Recruiters are very sharp, they're smart, and they're going to go, so how much are you earning now? Or what are your salary expectations, right? And most of you guys sell yourself short. I have the philosophy of, oh hell, if I'm bouncing to another job, minimum raise I'm giving myself, minimum is 20%. That's right, a 20% boost for me to switch jobs, because here's the reality. You might as well flip a fucking coin on whether or not you're actually going to like that job or they're going to like you. It's 50-50, right? I remember one time I had new jobs back to back, and I couldn't stand them until I got another one and I really liked that one. So that's, if you switch jobs, this is the thing. You don't know what you're actually walking into. And it's pretty damn scary, actually, because what if you get fired after a few weeks, right? So that's going to cost something when you switch jobs. And what it's the cost is the boost in salary to you. You want at least 20%. The other thing I'm going to say is this. If they say, so how much are you earning, right? Or what are you looking for now in your salary? And don't mind me, I'm just keep looking at my notes because I want to make sure I get everything down here. Okay. So this is what happens is they're going to say, so what are you looking for? What are your salary requirements? How much are you earning now? You don't answer that question. They say, how much are you earning now? You say, well, due to privacy reasons, I can't disclose exactly what I'm earning based out of respect for my employer and a confidentiality agreement I signed. That's all true. However, what I'm looking for is between, let's say you make $50,000 a year. Okay. 20% on 50,000 is 60,000. Okay. So then you say, I'm looking for something in the range of 60 to 80. Did you see what I just did? At the minimum, I gave myself a 20% raise, just right there. But I'm also allowing room to go up to 80. Now, here's also something. You need to know what the job market pays for your role in your city, okay? And the role you're applying for. It's very easy to find out the ranges if you go to salary.com, Glassdoor, whatever, right? So if you know, shit, man, this job pays between 60 and 80 and you're earning 50, you know right away you're going to get a 20% raise. So that's what I'm talking. So that's number two. Number two, second tip is to give yourself a raise, and always think about that. When you are looking to switch jobs, you want to switch because it's actually worth it financially. And I know some of you might say, well, Silver Bachelor, what if I want to work remote, or what if this, or what if I can't stand my boss? Yes, those are factors, but I'd be very, very leery to switch jobs for the same money because you have these other perks, because you don't know what you're walking into. So now moving on to number three is you always want to leave on good terms. Don't burn bridges. And I know some of you think, well, my boss was a fucking asshole. You never want to burn a bridge, because what happens is, especially if you're on LinkedIn, somebody who's thinking of hiring you, who may have a mutual connection, will most likely reach out to them, especially the more senior the role you're applying for, and say, hey, how do you know this person? Or have you worked with them before? What did you think? Behind your back. That's right. So that's why you need to be very graceful in the way you exit a job. So for example, one of the jobs I had, senior role, I was only in the job for 2 months. So this was not great. The company hired me. I convinced them to work remotely. They wanted me in Vancouver, but I convinced them, hey, moving to Vancouver is not an option for me right now. So they hired me as a remote, and the CEO job came up during that 2 months that I was with this new employer, and I left that employer after 2 months. I felt so bad. And I told him this. I said, look, I feel really bad about this. Is there anything I can do to help? And what I did as a negotiating thing is I gave them a 1 month's notice instead of a general 2 weeks notice. So this is actually a segue into number four, is ideally give a bit more than 2 weeks, because it takes sometimes months to find your replacement, by the way. depending on what you do. But the more senior you are, the longer it's going to take for them to find a replacement. So typically, I usually say to them that I'm giving you 1 month's notice for the transition. They love that. That is an amazing way to keep that bridge together and to not leave on bad terms. I know a lot of people are anxious to start that new job and they only give a minimum 2 weeks notice. It never goes over very well with the employer, especially if you're a senior person. So I like to give at least a 1 month's notice. Okay, so that's number 4. And then number 5 is be careful leaving for a competitor. Employers hate that. But I understand it happens, but just be careful. Some employers are real nasty and will try to come after you. I think in the United States, you can't do that now. You can work for any employer, regardless if they're a competitor. I think Canada, there's still a little something because I'm originally from Canada and I moved to Atlanta 1 year ago for my current role. So job hunting, in a nutshell, is the only and the best way to get a massive pay increase. And that's the only way that I've been successful over the last 10 years, giving myself a significant boost in salary. And as I've mentioned, over the last 8 years, I've made I now make 4 times my salary than what it was 8 years ago. That's a lot. That's a big difference. And like I said, I'll leave you with this. And that's the only way that I've been able to make that kind of serious boost in income is by job hopping. So hope you like this video and drop a comment if you'd like me to do more videos like this on career moves, job hunting, because as I mentioned, I am an marketing executive for a company, high level, and now I'm doing YouTube. Woo! So, all right. Hope you enjoy the video. We'll see you next time.